Welcome to the Deep Dive. We take the sources you share and we boil them down, get you those key insights fast.
Yep, cut right through the noise.
Exactly. So today we've got an article from the Greatness Engineering magazine. It's all about, well, what really makes people tick, achieve great things, intrinsic motivation.
Right, not the external stuff, the bonuses, the awards.
Forget that, yeah. Our mission here is to figure out where that real lasting drive comes from, the inner fire, and how it fuels the big wins. Hopefully some useful stuff for your own growth, too.
Sounds good. And this article jumps right in, suggesting motivation isn't really something you get from outside. It calls it a contraction of motive and action. It's internal.
Like, you already know where you're going deep down, not just looking at a map someone gave you.
Yeah, something like that. It's not just tacked on.
And the article makes a good point about how quickly that external stuff fades. It uses the example of sports teams. They win the big one, right? The cup, the honors, the cash. And then sometimes the drive just vanishes. Because maybe they were running on those external fumes and the tank's now empty, so to speak.
That makes sense. And it connects this to behavioral science findings. Apparently, research shows that having an independent desire for excellence, just wanting to be good at something for its own sake, that's a much better predictor of, real achievement, long-term success than just chasing money or status or recognition.
So it flips the script on what we usually think drives success.
Pretty much. It suggests that, that really successful people, the impactful companies, they're driven by something else, a need to express something or solve a particular problem using their skills, like to the max.
An internal pressure cooker, maybe?
Sort of, yeah. And the examples they give are great. You've got Shakespeare, Thomas Edison, Estee Lauder, Walt Disney.
Wow, quite the list.
And Amitabh Bachchan, Oprah Winfrey, Sachin Tendulkar, Bill Gates. I mean, talk about diverse fields. And sure, they all achieved wealth, status, everything. But the article argues their main motivation wasn't just the profit. It was inspiration, an inner need to create, to be excellent at what they did.
To produce the very best that was in them. That's how the article puts it, I think.
Exactly. It's a powerful idea, not just about the bottom line.
Which leads nicely into this concept of, was it inner applause?
Yeah, inner applause. I like that term too. It brings in Ray Kroc, the McDonald's guy. He apparently really got this. Said people should be motivated by the satisfaction of the work itself, not just the paycheck.
Because the external applause, the cheering crowds, that's not always there, is it?
Right. But that inner feeling, that faster heartbeat, the pride and satisfaction of accomplishment, as Kroc put it, that's always available. That's the real reward.
And his advice was pretty blunt, wasn't it? Something like,
the first thing a business executive needs is love of an idea. If you don't love your concept, drop it. Basically, if you're not passionate, get out.
Strong words. It makes you think, especially about young people starting out. The article raises a concern there.
Raises. It cautions against taking jobs just for the money, especially early on. The worry is you might compromise too much, lose touch with what actually excites you.
And maybe limit your potential down the line, your sort of self-actualization.
Exactly. That maybe you trade long-term fulfillment for short-term gain. It's a tough balance, for sure.
So, okay, if this inner drive is so crucial, how do we find it? Or build it? The article talks about this inner drive for excellence, leading to constantly wanting to be your best.
Right. It's not a one-off thing. It's a continuous process. And this has big implications for leaders, for managers.
How so?
Well, the article warns them, basically, don't rely too much on the external stuff. The bonuses, the perks, the fancy titles, they have their place, maybe, but
they aren't the core.
No. Enduring motivation must always come ultimately from within the individual. That's the key line. It has to be generated internally.
So it's about empowerment then.
Like
this vision.
Absolutely. Empowerment is huge. Giving people autonomy, trusting them. And vision, yes, but crucially, it can't just be the leader's vision imposed on everyone. Team members need to connect with it, make it their own, feel their contribution matters.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
You need to feel like you're building something you actually care about.
Precisely. So when you're hiring, for example, how do you spot these intrinsically motivated people?
Good question. Does the article give any tips?
It does offer some practical advice. Look for people who talk about the work itself with passion. They love their field. They seem excited by the challenge, by the chance to push themselves and contribute something meaningful.
And maybe be a little wary of.
Yeah, be cautious if the first thing they want to talk about or the only thing is the compensation package and the benefits. It might suggest their focus is more external than internal.
Got it. So look for the spark about the work, not just the wallet.
That's a good way to put it. It's about what drives them to give, not just what they expect to get.
Now, the article also mentions Prakash Seshadri, describes him as much accomplished, a strategic thinker involved in nation building.
Right. And his background is incredibly broad: academia, business, management, even spiritual dimensions, with his long involvement in heartfulness meditation.
He sounds like someone who might have some deep insights into this inner dimension we're talking about. Motivational speaker, author, consultant.
Yeah. And his work in mental conditioning for athletes and executives is called path breaking. It all points to someone who understands the inner game, you could say.
While the article doesn't explicitly lay out his philosophy on internal motivation.
No, it doesn't draw a direct line like he says X, but
someone so involved in things like meditation since, 1992? And guiding others in it, you'd assume they have a pretty deep understanding of cultivating inner resources, right?
You would think so, yeah. It strongly aligns with this whole theme. His life and work seem like a testament to harnessing that inner drive, that internal focus.
Okay, so pulling all this together from our deep dive into this magazine piece, the big takeaway seems to be that real, lasting success, the kind that feels meaningful.
It doesn't just come from chasing external carrots.
Right, it bubbles up from inside. That love for the work, that desire to be excellent, to make a difference, that's the sustainable fuel.
Exactly. It's about finding that engine within yourself and maybe helping others find it too, empowering people, not just directing them with rewards.
So, final thought then, for you listening.
The next hour.
Think about what's driving you. What are the main reasons behind your pursuits? Are they coming from that inner place?
And if maybe they're not, or not as much as you'd like, what's just one small thing you could do? One small step to connect more deeply with a sense of purpose in what you do?
Because that ultimately might be the most powerful thing you can cultivate for the road ahead.